Hi everybody, Enter the Stars. And what I'm about to show you is the synchronicity beyond all synchronicities. We're going to look at the 1988 Christmas Address to the World by Queen Elizabeth II. And in this address, she describes how England conquered the Spanish Armada in 1588. And this Christmas of 1988 marked the 400-year anniversary. But what she doesn't tell you is that the Queen Elizabeth I was in power and responsible for conquering that fleet. Queen Elizabeth I ruled for 44 years and 4 months. We're going to listen in, and we're also going to be reading Wikipedia while we watch this amazing synchronicity. Remember, the Queen will be 88 this year in a few short weeks.
In the year just past, Prince Philip and I have joined in the celebration of some notable anniversaries. The events which they marked were hundreds of years apart, but each was important enough to get much attention in 1988. The earliest event which we remembered was the encounter with the Spanish Armada in 1588. The 400th anniversary fell in the same year in which we were able to mark the happy relations between Britain and Spain which now exist by our state visit to Madrid. 400 years after the winds blew and the Spanish ships were scattered, the events were remembered without animosity in both countries. These prints from the Royal Library at Windsor illustrate the battles and some of the great fleet which gathered. This year, the present King of Spain showed me the rooms in the Escorial, where his predecessor, Philip II, planned the campaign. Had the fortunes of war gone against us, how very differently events in Britain and Europe would have unfolded. Earlier in the year, we marked another event of the first importance in our history. The 300th anniversary of what is popularly known as the Glorious Revolution. The invitation to King William and Queen Mary to accept the thrones of England and Scotland finally laid to rest the enterprise of England, which Philip of Spain set in hand. It thus gave the particular direction to our history, which was to lead to the development of parliamentary democracy and the tradition of political and religious toleration which Britain enjoys today. It was a great pleasure for us to celebrate that event in the company of the Crown Prince of the Netherlands. Together we visited Torbay, which was where King William landed in 1688. It was shrouded with fog when we were there, but we did manage to see through the mist some of the hundreds of British and Dutch yachts that had assembled there. 300 years may seem a long time ago, but there are still some objects here in Buckingham Palace which bring to life William and Mary as people. And one which I particularly treasure is this little patchbox that belonged to the Queen and which carries her monogram entwined with William's on the lid. The 1988 anniversary season opened in Australia with a grand party on Australia Day to mark the country's 200th birthday. It was a party which went on for most of the year, but Prince Philip and I joined in the festivities in April and May. Like so many visitors in bicentennial year, we brought home some souvenirs of our visit. In our case, it was some delightful early prints of Sydney, which served to remind us of the extraordinary developments which have taken place in Australia in the short space of 200 years. Contrast this scene of Sydney Harbour with the pictures we all saw of the crowded waters around the Opera House and the famous bridge in January this year. Centenaries may seem rather arbitrary occasions, but they nonetheless prompt us to look back into the past. When we do so, we can draw hope from seeing how ancient enmities have vanished, and how new nations have grown and established themselves in vigour and wisdom. Equally, they make us reflect on injustices.
As you can see here, she was given the credit for the greatest military victory in English history. But as you can see, Queen Elizabeth II totally overshadows that point. If you have not, to this point, believed in the numbers, you will now after viewing this video. The 44s and the 88s are there, and this is her 88th birthday in 2 short weeks. Take care and be safe, you guys.